Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me at benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcast because People of Distinction is a nationally and internationally syndicated show because of listeners like you. Our shows are available across all major podcast distributors as well as YouTube. And if you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. We appreciate the support. Continue to like and follow and sit back and strap in because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Katherine B. Hull. We're going to be discussing her amazing book, Pure Luck, available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a whole host of other places. People, in addition to those sites, check out her personal one. Now, quick disclaimer, when you head on over to her personal website, katherinebhull.com, understand there's not much information about the book there. That's going to be more geared towards her musical background. We're going to discuss that shortly as well, but I'm telling you, it is definitely a spot that you want to check out. Once again, that's katherinebhull.com. And before we go any further, I want to quickly point out the fact that Kathryn was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by one of the best publishing firms in the business. People you already know, talking about Author Reputation Press. So for my writers out there who need help moving the masterpiece that they just created, look no further than ARP because this is exactly what their team specializes in. Head on over to authorreputationpress.com and gather all the ways that their team, gather how they're going to help you do just that. And listen, it is a true pleasure to have Kathryn here on the line. People, her book, Pure Luck, is something of pure entertainment. I really do mean it. Once you pick it up, you're not going to be able to put it down. You know, it follows two friends as they embark upon a journey to find some buried treasure. All right, and that's all I'm going to say about the book itself because I don't want to give anything away. But, you know, it's something that's going to keep you at the edge of your seat. Now, the underlying message is something we can all take from it. I don't care how old you are, but it expresses the importance of friendship. Now, the interesting thing here is the older you get, that circle of friends tends to get a little smaller, but the friendships are enriched, right? They become even more layered, more intricate, and much more important to your day-to-day lives. I look at this and I think of the notion of that village that you carry around you. Sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's significant others, sometimes it may even be those furry little pets that we carry with us in our house that become like children to us. Well, people, the notion here is sometimes, you might be able to do things on your own, but it's always a little bit better when you got someone to share that experience with. You have someone to share that burden with. Now, this book is going to symbolize and showcase that to a magnificent degree. There is a lot that's happening here. It is such a fun journey that your children are going to love to embark upon, but even a lot of my adults out there as well. And at the end of the day, Kathryn is the expert. It's her book. She's written it. She's going to be able to articulate it all much better than I ever could. Sit back and strap in. Kathryn, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Wonderful. Well, Kathryn, listen, it is a pleasure to have you here. I think what you've done by comprising this book is fun, but it also carries a great message that we can all get behind as well. So thank you for comprising it, and thank you even more for being here with us to discuss it. Now, Kathryn, before we jump into this book, start off by telling our listening audience a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Well, my background is from being a child born in the Northwest without any money, poor, on a farm. Progressing from that through the levels of education, I became a teacher. But it was like transformation over years of changing from nothing to a professional person. Mm-hmm. It's been a great journey.
Love that. And without further ado, tell us a little bit more about your book, Pure Luck.
Well, it was a book that started when I was visiting a friend on the central coast of California and thinking about all the things that happen on the coastline. And because I'm a teacher, I work with youth a lot. And I just decided to have a couple of young friends do something interesting based on what I saw at the California. And the story almost wrote itself once I started with it.
Love that. Well, following off of that, but sticking to inspiration here, I love the whole narrative of finding buried treasure or searching for it. Now, I think that this is interesting and something that I want to kind of play off of because, listen, Kathryn, buried treasure is a classic trope. That is a classic theme found in a lot of different stories. Well, when you were creating this book, how did you ensure that it still felt fresh and unique to your story?
Well, when the children, the boy and the girl friends, found these coins in the sand in a couple of different places, it kind of led them in a direction to a cliff. And they said, if there's treasure, it's going to be around there. That encouraged them to explore the area, and they found a place where it could have been possible. They did a lot of research on the area, so they knew that there had been pirate ships in the area, so they thought, if any treasure is going to be here, this is the area. So they decided to pursue their quest, discover this cliff in the side. The cliff was a hole in the side of it, and they climbed in, and they said, oh, this could be it. And the sound from the detector determined there was metal in there. So that was where they started to pursue their quest.
In addition to these friends embarking upon this journey, through it all, there's a teacher's involvement, right? And that I love because it does add an unexpected layer. Rather than just the friends embarking upon the journey, they add this adult, this authority figure in with it. Well, why did you choose to add this authority figure to become entangled in their adventure?
Well, when they discovered there was treasure there and they started digging, they realized they could not do it by themselves. They needed help. But they wanted to keep the secret from the parents because they were not supposed to have been there anyway. So they thought of their teacher at school, those they trusted, and talked to him about it and got him involved in helping them dig a hole and look for the treasure. One problem with that was he was a little bit taller than they. And one time when he stands up, he hit his head on the top of the cave and knocked himself out. So here they were, near the coastline with a tide coming in, and the teacher is knocked out, and they don't know what to do. They solve the problem, and eventually they get him out of there. They go back another time when he's okay. I mean, they had him in the hospital and everything. They never tell their parents. All secret. But eventually he was able to help them, and they get the treasure out. So that was a little tough to keep the secret from the parents, but still work with the teacher. And he was very faithful sharing the secret.
People, again, the book is called Pure Luck. You're going to want to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and purchase your copies. Katherine B. Hull is a name to be reckoned with. This book is just a start. While you're at it, check out our personal site, KathrynBHull.com, to gather more information on her and her music background as well. Kathryn, I want to go into your writing process next. And I'm curious because as an artist myself, and although I'm in a different medium, listen, art is art. And you may start off one day with a very clear vision and roadmap in mind. And then you understand that through that process, you may have started with one vision, and all of a sudden that starts to manifest and change. And by the third day, you're on a completely different platform. You're on a completely different lane and story that you're embarking upon. Well, I want to hear it from you. During your writing process, were there any major changes to the plot during this process? And if so, what were they? What were some other avenues that you were potentially thinking of exploring?
Well, I find my system of writing unusual. I've been told You're supposed to develop a plot and a general outline and then do the story. Mm-hmm. I don't do that. I start with an idea, start writing, and it develops its own plot. The story develops gradually over time. And what I thought at the beginning is never what I had in mind when I ended it, because it develops its own story through the time. And I know that's not the professional way to write, but that's how it works for me.
Well, listen, I love that. And that brings up a follow-up question. And this is also something that I've heard from other writers when they talk about the story just, kind of taking on a life of their own. Well, talk to us now, sticking with the writing process. Were there any moments that stick out to you where the characters that you were developing almost seemed to write themselves?
Well, I think when the children had this problem and needed an adult, the fact that they thought of a teacher, to me, was unusual. They would think of a friend or a relative or something like that. Mm-hmm. But because they had a teacher at school whom they trusted, that made a whole different storyline.
There you have it. There you have it. Kathryn, last couple of questions here as we start to close out. This book is remarkably entertaining. And as I mentioned at the top, not only is it entertaining, but it has a great fundamental message of friendship, of unity, right? Well, let's play on that just a little bit as we close out. What are you hoping your readers take from your book after they've completed it?
Well, because I feel it's focused on friendship, I think about a boy and a girl, 12 years old, being best friends. Maybe not too common, but I think even as adults, men and women can be best friends. Yeah. So as children, learn how to be best friends is good. And then when they have the teacher enter, and to have a teacher as a friend, not an enemy or a professional person who tells them what to do or not to do, to be a friend also, I thought was really important. So children and adults can be friends.
There you have it. Kathryn, we know about your background. We know about this amazing book. Let's focus now on the future. What's next for you? Are there other books that you're planning on writing on the horizon? What's upcoming?
Well, it's interesting. All the books that I have written so far have been for children. So last year I decided to try something different, and I wrote my first novel for an adult. It's waiting to be published.
Kathryn, you are the absolute embodiment of a person of distinction. People, there's more there to be gained. It starts with pure luck, but I promise you it doesn't end there. Head on over there today, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. While you're at it, gather more information on her music background through Catherine.com. It really is a one-stop shop. Kathryn, this has been a true pleasure, an absolute delight. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad I could share information about my book, which I really enjoyed writing.